This series is not meant to be an accurate representation of the current NASCAR Cup Series. This is a fictional series, ran on NR2003 for enjoyment. I hope you enjoyed today's race.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the NR2003 simulation season live from Richmond Raceway for the regular season finale. After tonight, 14 drivers will be eligible to race for a championship starting next week in Kansas, but the question remains, who will the 14 be? Some drivers need to have a good run tonight. Some drivers just need to have a solid run to maintain their position in the top 14. We're moments away from finding out who will get it done tonight and who will have a tough time and maybe miss out on a chance at a championship. We're going to take you trackside for the command of fire engines.
Say it with me. Drivers, start your engines.
And with that, the command of fire engines have been given. Cars will roll off a pit lane. This is the way that they will roll off to start tonight's race. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, the Kyle show on the front row. You're going to hear us talk a lot about playoff drivers here tonight. Right on that cut line is Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain. Joey Logano has worked himself back into the conversation. You'll hear us talk about that quite a lot tonight, but right now, eyes on Kyle Busch as they come into the Geico restart zone. Green flag in the air. We're racing in Richmond. Down in turn one, Kyle Busch with a great run. Oh, and Byron gets into the door a little bit of Kevin Harvick. 3 wide for second. Maybe not anymore, as Larson with the run on the high side will be able to slot himself right into the second position. First lap completed. Kyle Busch, your leader. Daniel Suarez right now is the holder of that 14th position. You can see him battling with Kurt Busch. 3 wide ahead of Suarez. Ooh, a little contact there. Cindric and Hamlin. Cindric and Hamlin doored each other down into turn number 1. Hamlin is not going to like that. Cindric almost got it by him, but Hamlin battling back hard on the outside. Side by side down into turn number 3. This right now is a battle for the 6th position. So we talked about these two drivers here. Suarez and Ross Chastain right behind him in the GoPro car. These two guys are battling each other for the 14th position. Chastain is 13th, Suarez is 14th. This is where it gets very difficult for a team, because Suarez is going to race Chastain like he is anybody else. Any alliances they may have had in the season are over. They may be on the same team, fly under the same flag, but right now it is all about yourself and getting yourself a chance at a championship, not about helping your teammate. We had talked about Joey Logano the last couple weeks, and Logano is here right now riding in the 20th position. That is not going to get it done for Logano. Logano has to get 2 positions in the points in order to be in the top 14. But a few weeks ago, if you would have told me that the 22 was going to be in this position, I would have said, you're crazy. Because Logano was nowhere to be found. He was had a quiet summer. We've documented it a lot. But right now, Logano not getting what he needs to. Riding around at 20th is not going to get you the points you need. One guy that really needs some help right now is Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick is 15th. He's only 35 points off of Daniel Suarez. But Reddick right now riding, he is all the way back in 26th. So as we talked about at the beginning of the show, drivers that need to have a good night, a couple of them right there not starting it off the way that they would hope to start it off. Meanwhile, at the front, it is the Kyle and Kyle show. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson. These two guys know their way to victory lane. Kyle Busch so good in Richmond. You can see it here, as he has got almost a 2/10 of a second lead over Kyle Larson and almost a second lead over Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch right now 12th in the championship standings. And on the opposite end of things, Kyle Larson is second. Chase Elliott, even with his 4 wins, he could be on the chopping block tonight. Chase Elliott is only in the 11th position. And it's very tight. The points are extremely tight. So, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson battling for the lead. Behind them, you have a train of race cars with William Byron in there. Byron getting his first win of the season last week. Go all the way back to 19th to find Chase Elliott. This race moderately short. Laps go by really fast here in Richmond. Looks like Martin Truex Jr. was taking a look to the inside of Eric Jones. One driver we haven't talked about all too much since his win in Pocono is Cole Custer. He was in the playoff conversation, but unfortunately a string of bad runs has been not so good for the 41. Right behind him is Tyler Reddick, who lost the car on entry of turn 3 there. Luckily, Chris Buescher wasn't able to get underneath him. That was a big mistake from Tyler Reddick. And the guy that makes this happy, is the 99 of Daniel Suarez. Keep those guys behind him. As long as Suarez finishes ahead of those guys, Suarez will be moving on. Suarez right now in 10th. That 10th place finish would lock him into the playoffs. The guy that is locked in, Alex Bowman, has been locked in the playoffs for a couple weeks now. So Bowman locked in. Another driver that has locked themselves in is up the front. It's Kyle Larson. A couple notables that have not won this season but are locked into the playoffs are actually nose to tail right now. Martin Truex locked himself in. Ryan Blaney behind him also locked himself into the playoffs. So these guys focus on next week, Kansas. Reddick making a move on Cole Custer. That's going to be for the 24th position, but that top side is so strong here in Richmond. Very mellow race here tonight. See Chastain, he also lost the nose a little bit. Now he's got Eric Jones underneath him, but Eric Jones got too loose off the corner to do anything with him. Jones, one of those cars that he's made a charge here late in the season. Was very far out of contention for a playoff spot, but Eric Jones doing quite well to have some good runs and good results here towards the end of the season, building for next season. Got some racing here. Bowman racing with Austin Dillon. Dillon in the 9th position in the point standings. One guy that some of these guys should keep an eye out for is the 2 car of Austin Cindric. Cindric right now being shown in 7th position. If he finishes here in 7th, he has the potential to hop over Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, and even potentially Tyler Reddick at this point. And he also is 2 positions ahead of Daniel Suarez, but that would not be enough to cover what Cindric needs to cover. Haven't talked about it much tonight, but the 20 of Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell right now 17th in the point standings. 47 back from Joey Logano. As long as Logano finishes ahead of Bell, Logano will stay ahead of him in the point standings. So one of the biggest storylines about tonight is just how many drivers that are actually racing for positions in the points around them are actually racing each other on the track right now. Logano and Bell is one case of that. We talked about another case earlier of Chastain and Suarez, those 2 guys racing each other. Front of the field has stayed the same as Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson continue to put time on the drivers behind them. Over halfway in the race now. Lap traffic should not play a factor anytime soon. Another driver right here, Justin Haley. We've seen him up the front of the field pretty much all season long. No wins for the 31. The team, Colleague Racing, has wins, 2 of them, with AJ Allmendinger starting at Phoenix and 1 in Sonoma. Justin Haley has not found victory lane, but has been quite consistent this year. The problem is the consistency has gone away the last 3 weeks. Haley right now, he's in a spot because he could potentially lose quite a few points here. Because he had fallen. He was up in 5th of points at one point in the season. He's fallen to 7th now after 2 bad weeks. Noah Gregson getting another start for Colin Racing. The car he will be driving next year, as announced today, there's 4 cars behind him. Noah Gregson will be taking over for Ty Dillon in the 42 machine. So Gregson will be getting into that 42 machine full time next year. Got some racing here between Jones and Chastain. Chastain right now fighting hard because Chastain, he is only in the 13th position right now. The problem that Ross is facing is he's only 54 points up on teammate Daniel Suarez. Now, given 2 spots would not change that, but he was under fire from Eric Jones there. Start losing some positions and things can change. And that news had gotten back to Suarez because he started to try to put some pressure on Alex Bowman. Drama starting to build a little bit here as the points are so close. So close, in fact, that Denny Hamlin is only 1 point off of Austin Dillon. And they're racing here with 1 car separating them. But unless something miraculous happens, Tyler Reddick will not catch Daniel Suarez. Suarez would have to have an issue. The story of this 99 team through the season. Now we've got a caution on the racetrack. That's going to stack everybody up. Like Landon Castle was stopped on the track. This is going to stack everybody up as we go racing again. We'll get a replay of what happened to Landon Castle here on lap 43. And Landon was off the pace a little bit at the back of the pack, but the motor lets go on the front straightaway. And you can see the 77, not enough power to make it back all the way around. And he just pulls it to the inside of the track here. And Landon Castle done for the day here in Richmond. Here are live pit stops. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, they are away. So the front 2 stay the same. As the rest of the cars come off of pit road. While the cars get sorted out and get ready to go back green flag racing, we'll take a break. We'll see you back in just a moment. Welcome back to Richmond Raceway here on the regular season finale. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson. Your top 2, Kyle Busch, your leader. About to go back green flag racing. Kyle Busch into the restart zone, back green flag racing. We are underway again here in Richmond. Kyle Busch not able to get away like he did right away off the start here, off the restart. Behind him, a driver that had a really good pit stop, Daniel Suarez. Suarez up to 7th. Suarez's crew is just telling him to stay right with the two. Do not let the two get out of your sight. The other guys that Suarez is racing right now for that 14th position, you got to go all the way in the back of the pack to find him. I mean, way back. Joey Logano, he's seeing his playoff hopes dwindle to nothing. Back in the 35th position. His playoff hopes slowly disappearing. As well as Tyler Reddick. Reddick in 22nd right now. He was barely close when the race started. Only 35 points off of Suarez, but as they run right now, Reddick would be out, Suarez would be in. Suarez under fire from Denny Hamlin, as we've got a caution on the racetrack. Or a spin, rather. No caution. We'll get a replay of what just happened there. Taking a look at the 7 and the 51. Some heavy damage there for those two cars. And Cody Ware, he tried to make it pit road and clip the inside wall. Take one more look at it. Some contact there. Sends both of those cars into the outside wall. Heavy damage. No caution for that, though. We're back live. No caution for that accident. Debris doesn't fly off these cars like it used to. Suarez able to defend well from Denny Hamlin. Coming down to the end of this race. Right now it is a 4-car battle. The two leaders, the 18 and the 5, they have not been able to separate themselves from the rest of the field. Austin Cindric trying to do everything he can do to get enough points. Cindric right now in 4th. No wins on the season for the 2-car. It's rookie season. Behind Cindric, you got Byron battling with Almirola. Suarez, he's looking to take advantage of that as well. White flag in the air. Last lap for Kyle Busch. On the back straightaway for the final time. Kyle Busch off of turn number 4. He loves Richmond, knows his way to win, and he's going to win tonight. Kyle Busch, your winner. Austin Cindric 4th. Kyle Busch will celebrate this win. And we will take a look at the unofficial 14 that will compete for a championship here in a moment. The results are in. NASCAR has quickly inspected the 14 unofficial drivers that have moved on. All is okay. They've passed the inspection. And this is the top 14, the 14 drivers that will race for a championship. Bowman, Larson, Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Justin Haley, Denny Hamlin, Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, and Daniel Suarez will race for a championship starting next week in Kansas. Speaking of the schedule, here is the playoff schedule. Kansas up first. The stakes have never been higher. Here's how the playoffs will work. These top 14 drivers go racing next week. The bottom 2 finishers will be eliminated from contention, and 2 drivers will be eliminated each round until 4 drivers remain to race for a championship in Las Vegas. 14 drivers, 6 races, 1 champion. Next week, the playoffs begin. These 14 drivers begin their quest for a championship. We hope you'll join us for the most exciting playoffs in motorsports next week in Kansas.